Hey guys, so today is my first video, so please bear with me for a start off, and I'm going to be doing an anti-haul. Now, I want my channel to be things like shopping hauls and anti-hauls and modelling day vlogs because I've started being a model, and for quite a lot of jobs that I look at, they're like, oh, you should have a YouTube channel, this, that and the other. So I'm hoping that I'm going to get somewhere basically with other jobs doing YouTube. So with my anti-haul, I'm just going to talk about products that I don't want and I will not buy and refuse to buy for certain reasons. And yeah, let's get into it. So I've got a list here of everything that I will not buy, and on the first agenda is Jeffree Star in about 5 capitals. Now, before we get onto his makeup, let's talk about the person, Jeffree Star. This person is one of my most hated people on this planet, for a start off, because he's racist. He's just not a nice person at all. He supports people who are also racist, not very nice. Whenever there's a drama involved, whose names always pops up? Jeffree Star, and there's been stuff about him giving people hush money for, harassing them in sexual ways. So I will refuse to support that man. And now let's talk about the makeup.
And how tired we are. Imagine how tired we are of it.
I'm going to talk about things that went on this year. So first of all, there was the cremated palette, which came out in May. And obviously with a pandemic going on, naming a palette cremated was not exactly a bright idea. But at the same time, I understand that the product was ready to go. If you keep that in a storage room for however long, the makeup's going to go out of date a lot quicker when people finally get it. I get it. But at the same time, this palette is ugly. Like about 5 shades are at least the same, and I just don't like it. It's not my thing. I like bright pinks, purples, blues. That's just not my thing. And the packaging on the front is ugly as well because it's got him on the front. Now, let's talk about another one that came out this year. I can't even say the name because I've heard that it gets your video taken down, but it spells O-G-R-Y, and it's got lots of pictures on the very suggestive pictures on the front. Now, considering his audience are about 12, because all of his stans who haven't left him yet obviously have no conception of racism or what a horrible person he is. So yeah, that's very, and the palette is even uglier than the cremated palette. There's at least, that palette could be split in half, and he said, oh, it's revolutionary, no one's ever done it before. The only thing you can do with that is a smoky eye or just a little bit of plain stuff on your lid. That's it. Nothing interesting. And I think it was over £50, and people were having problems with it, so we had to refund them. And before it was even sold out, and it was out for a good few weeks, and Jeffree Star Cosmetics normally sell out, and he had to take them off the website and everything. And then there was this velvet trap where there was a woman in a mousetrap, a black woman in a mousetrap. Absolutely vile, because he's referred to black women as like horrible derogatory terms and then puts them in a rat trap. And then he gets a boyfriend after being told that he's racist, he's black. And he came out on a podcast recently saying that, oh, Jeffree Star's not racist, it's just stereotypical racism. And I'm like, that's still racism, hun. Just because he's not racist to you, and apparently he's racist towards Asians and imitates them, does not mean that you're not racist, just because it's stereotypical. So, and apparently all of his cosmetics lines are in TK Maxx now. Now, he made a video not long ago basically saying if you're in TK Maxx you are failing and you're gonna go out of business soon. So yeah, good luck with that one, Jeffree. Now the second one is Dior and YSL, all these high designer brand makeup, because it looks tacky, it looks cheap. There's always like 5 little shades that are all the same, and then they come with them minging small brushes, and it just stick to perfume and stick to bags, please. That's all I can say on the matter. Now, Too Faced. Now, I could go on a rant about Too Faced just like I have done about Jeffree Star. First of all, at the beginning of 2020, Nikki Tutorials came out with a coming out video because she was technically being held hostage with it from the owner's sister of Too Faced, saying like, oh, we're going to tell everyone that you're transgender unless... I don't even know what they were holding her with, but she did a deal with them and she only made £30,000 out of a palette that made at least 2.5 million. And it was like a collab. So yeah, so she came out, and now Too Faced is not a very good company. And for a second of all, they now have palettes that look like you'd see in Claire's, you know, like, oh, you know, you're 12 and you're getting your first eyeshadow palette because everyone at school is starting to wear makeup. That's what it looks like. And I can't support anyone like that. It looks expensive for what it is as well, and I just refuse to support that. And another thing is that they have a collection called Better Than Sex. Now, if your makeup looks like it's for 12-year-olds, I don't really think that's very suitable, and I haven't heard anyone talk about this. I haven't heard anyone talk about it before, so... But that's just my opinion, I guess, on the whole situation. The second wall is MAC, and mostly MAC lipsticks. I have 5 MAC lipsticks. This one is Ruby Woo. Absolutely love it. It's like a matte red, you know. But they're recycling the shades and renaming them. I think it is this one, this Ruby Woo one. They made it again and renamed it as a Christmas thing, Christmas name. Like, we're not doing that. I'm sorry. And you know, these were worth 50. I think they're now £15.50 or £16, whatever they are now, and they're not cruelty free. So I'm sure I can find a nice lipstick exactly like this. It also comes off really quickly, so not dealing with that. Another YouTuber just as controversial as Mr. Jeffree Star, Nikita Dragun. Now, I cannot stand this woman. I want to like her. I don't know what it is, but I want to like her, but I just can't. First of all, this palette came out with Morphe. I've given up with Morphe. I have the James Charles palette, and ever since I bought the James Charles palette, he's been partying in LA and doing whatever the hell he wants. And all their palettes look the same. They have those big ones in the middle and then all the little ones on the outside. Now there's a couple of different ones in Nikita's palette, but you know, just a couple. I've got the rest of them in the James Charles palette, which I feel guilty about buying now anyway. And this woman, where do I start? First of all, the tweet was, what race is Nikita gonna be today? And saying like, oh, imagine being black, I could never. And it just rubs me up the wrong way. For a start, people have come out like calling her out, this, that, and she's friends with people like Lorraine, who are black, and they don't call her out, and they're still friends with her, and I just don't get it. I just don't get it. And she's always like, oh, it's because I'm trans, you all hate me. And I'm like, no, it's not that. You're just a genuinely bad person, and you've been partying without a mask. So as I was saying, with the Morphe James Charles palette, here it is, hardly used because he was being a good person. So I thought, you know what, I'll support him, and the palette was half price. It took about 3 months to get here, which I was a bit fuming about because other people were getting it like round the corner and I wasn't. I mean, the swatches are good, you know, there's a blue, sparkly purple, you know, this one was my favourite, this pinky one. You know, like, the swatches aren't that bad and it's good quality, but it's with Morphe for a start off, and they are a dodgy company. You know, if you haven't watched Smoky Glows, the Revolutionary of Morphe, I highly recommend it because it's just woke me up to why I shouldn't buy from them. And also, you know, James Charles being a good person, and then he started partying during a pandemic, not wearing a mask. He's just gone to the Bahamas when LA is apparently on a lockdown. I'm just not happy with him. And second of all, you know, Beauty Bay's palette with Nikki Tutorials, you know, that was only £25, and it's probably one of the best things I've ever bought in my life. Now, why did you have to go with Morphe when apparently they're renaming some shades so they don't look like that? So it looks like that they're vegan when they're not. And, you know, they changed the Jaclyn Hill formula, vegan to non-vegan, and there was a big deal with that, and the quality wasn't as good. So let's just leave Morphe in 2020, shall we? Now, the Norvina palettes now. My good girl Angelica, thank you for making me not buy these, because these are $68 per palette. Thankfully she did not pay full price for the palette, because I would not be happy if the swatches aren't that good. ABH, Anastasia Beverly Hills, has just gone downhill in the past couple of years. I mean, I love Norvina as a person, but if your makeup's not good and it's a rip-off, and I'm just not gonna support you. Finally today we have Wet n Wild Cosmetics. Now Wet n Wild just gives me the same vibe as Too Faced. I mean, I haven't tried to out anyone who's trans who wasn't out yet, thank God for that, but the makeup just gives me 12-year-old, oh, it's my first time getting makeup at 12 years old, because everyone at school's wearing it, so I'll get it vibes. Price ain't that bad, so I wouldn't expect it to be that high quality anyway, but it just seems like the bare minimum palettes and the bare minimum kind of small things. I mean, I'm not a really big fan of big things like this anyway, but I don't know, I just like a medium. I don't like really small, I don't like really big. So yeah, that was my anti-haul. That was my first YouTube video. I am praying to God that this editing is okay and this setup at the moment is okay. I will be changing it. I have got a microphone on the way. Like, comment what you think, subscribe. My socials will be linked down below, so my Instagram, my Twitter, they're the ones I use the most. So thank you very much for watching. See you later.